Hi, so last episode for the MBTI. Yeah, so basically MBTI, yes. I'm going to the last one and today is INTJ. Yeah, finally. It's so sweet. It's so good. Yes, yes. Yeah, so basically INTJ, yeah, just understand this way. It's much more like the always the behind the scene. And a lot of time, like in a scenario or my I mean, in the movies, a lot of time they are in the state of like, yes, I'm the final boss in the end, and I will just plan everything, and you don't even know that I exist. Yeah, something much more like that, or like I exist, but you never think about I will do all this. Well planned. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, most probably. Yeah, in a sense. There's the INTJ. But why a lot of people are just gonna give this kind of like a thinking or we say the credit of the personality onto INTJ because they really plan ahead. And when I mean plan ahead, it's much more like okay, ENTJ and INTJ is kind of different because ENTJ is that they try to solve the things out while trying to face the problem. Like they are going to a distance. They know that the destiny is in front of it, but they are just like, okay, let's do it first. Then we try to solve the problem right here and right there. But for INTJ, because their hero is always the introverted intuition, so they have a very strong goal onto the end. And in their mind, they have a lot of like ways to make it true, but they want the best way. They want the true way, like so-called the true way, the best way. So efficiency, accountability, and everything like is it will it be risky? Will it be ideal? Is it the ideal case realistic or not? A lot of time for INTJ, they just calculate ahead, and they calculate. They think ahead. They use their brain, and sometimes because they want to do it so fast, and they just keep on using common sense. Is it all necessary that is everything true? Not really, especially when we understand the common sense. It's just like a group of people having the same believing, but is the belief is really necessary that true? No, it's just like a culture, it's like an environment, it's like a phenomena. Yeah, no, it's much more like in this way. But for INTJ, they can just use all this and like very good. Yeah, there's basically the INTJ part of it. So because the INTJ is always like so interesting and always when they talk kind of different from an ENTJ. ENTJ have the FI fear, so they are really careful on the wording they choose. And INTJ, they don't give a shit, and they were just like, "Wow, it sucks. Wow, this thing is fucked up." Yeah, they will just say it out, and for them, yeah, nothing accountable for them since they are talking about their true feelings. They are being honest, and they are doing good. Mm, yeah. So let's try to go through all the functions right here. So basically, NI at a hero function itself, it means yes, they are always choosing, and you need to give them right. Then you will try to stop them to have the point or like have the freedom to choose. Basically, you're trying to chase them away. Basically, yeah, that's the whole point of it. Yeah, the introverted intuitions that always working this way. And then next one, which is the extroverted thinking on the parent function. So basically, it's the first pessimistic function right here. At the same time, the first extroverted functions that you can see on INTJ, and basically that's why always whenever people encounter INTJ, firstly they will just feel that it's judgmental because that's how they trying to interact in a sense, but their judgmental self like her perspective, not necessarily coming from outside, but something from herself or like her intuition, or we say like impressions that suddenly came into her. Yeah, so sometimes people would just say that, yeah, you just think by yourself. Yeah, somehow it's true, and what else they can have reference onto it. The hero is the introverted intuitions all the time. Yeah, it's the most interesting part onto it. And the judgment, yeah, using the extroverted thinking, basically they are trying to structurize everything and making everything efficient, quick, fast, and make everything works. Yes. And basically coming in this way. Yeah. So if you are trying to put INTJ onto like a, let's say, um, as a manager or like a director or like a coordinator, yeah, they can do a very good job. They will just look at it, but let them plan ahead, yeah. And you need to give them the reason for them to choose, yeah, basically in this way. Yeah, so this is the very fun part of it. Yeah. And next is the child function, is the introverted feeling. So introverted feeling right here, what they are doing. Like finally they have the feeling, but the feeling itself is like playing like a child. It's like far away. And the introverted intuitions is the hero. So the expansion, always say the expansion of like the self value, but the expansion itself is not, it's not rounded expand. It's like a very pinpoint on to like the right future, the destiny they are looking onto it. Yeah, it's much more like I'm choosing this path and I will just die on this path. I don't care anything. This is my priority and no one can touch my priority again. This is my moral. I stand everything for it. And if somebody want to destroy like whatever I can create, you die. Yeah, basically like this. Yeah, so basically INTJ, yeah, don't try to play with their plan. Don't. Yeah. Or else uh in a good way they just ignore you. In a bad way, they might try to revenge you. Yeah. Basically come in this way. Yeah. If we try to understand that INTJ. Yeah, next one. SE fear. Extroverted sensing fear. Extroverted sensing, which means performance, and which means on the fear function, they want to do it, they can't, but if you took it away, they will be angry. Freedom. Yeah, so basically, performance itself, they have a lot of good plan in their mind. They just rushing. But at the same time, they are trying to plan it so well. The judgment itself, they are trying to plan it so well. And at the same time, they have a child function of like an introverted feeling. So they are trying to create like, okay, I want to make it perfect. I want to make it good. I want to make it looks like it just works very well, yeah, in the sense. But with the fear function of the extroverted sensing, they are really afraid of like if they made something wrong, if they make something that made people just think that they are not professional or just thinking that they are doing something silly, they will be offended and they will be like, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah, that's basically the INTJ. So yeah, if you want to piss them off, do it. Yeah, and you will just got the revenge of your lifetime. Hmm. Yeah, you're making your life very interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't do it. And yeah, basically onto it, you will find like a very interesting thingy right here is that okay, if you heard about like a INTJ and they talk and they told you about like a something good plan and you just ask them maybe out of wonders and you're like, why don't you just do it? And they'll be like, maybe I should do it. Then they will just run everything individually. And we say it's much more like a independent individual, but no one can really walk away uh, from the human society in the end. So yeah, somehow they suffer with it. But at the same time, if they think it as a mission, like they need to face it, yeah, they they will just try to take up all the responsibility. Just look at Moses. Moses, basically, in an easy sense, yeah, he is the INTJ in the Bible, and like for him, he is like giving up everything, and he's like, okay, yeah, even I need to die on the desert, I will just do it. Yeah, and yeah, in the end, he just died in the desert. Yeah, somehow. Yeah, but eventually, when the INTJ like trying to read about the Bible, always when they read about the Moses, they were just like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, basically, yeah, why? Yes, you to have a same type of like a MBTI way of like a insurrection, the pattern insurrections in this sense. Okay, let's go to the shadow function. And first thing is the extrovert intuition. Extrovert intuition, basically right here, nemesis. You don't like to do it, but somehow you're still doing it. So basically, what judging other people's like intentions. Somehow, like usually INTJ. Okay, if they are keeping, they are keep on like staying at their ego side. They don't need to judge. Yeah, they were just like saying that what I need, what I want. But when they suddenly being challenged by somebody else, like talking about like their credibilities and everything, and they will just start to analyze other people's like intentions, and it's not something that really comfortable for them. But a lot of time INTJ, because they are keep on facing problem in the world, like in the real world, so they need to like keep on going to their shadow function and trying to check in here and there and like trying to make sure whatever they do is like correct. And because of it, and just making they really sensitive onto other people's intuition, but a lot of time they just overthink, or like we say misjudge a lot of like information. So in the end they don't like to do it. Yeah, it just somehow it just destroying your own credibility. INTJ, just remember they are the introverted being. So it's not about like how their interaction in a big scale, how does it works really well. Other people's like praises. No, they don't care about that. They just care about how they think about themselves. Yeah. So the next one, critic. So introverted thinking. So somehow introverted thinking have a kind of sense is that they keep on doing like all kind of like how should I say, repentance, or should I use repentance or like a reflection? They are doing reflection of themselves a lot. And reflection itself, it doesn't mean that, okay, is it my action? They will just try to put up to their third figure like up there and like trying to see like, okay, am I doing this and am I reaching the goal? And is everything that I'm doing, is it valid or no? Yeah. And at the same time, they will judge onto other people as well, because they really judge themselves, so they think that, yeah, I have the credibility and to judge onto other people. So yeah, that's why like when you're meeting a INTJ, you feel scary. Scary first part, they did judge themselves. Second part, they are judging you. Yeah, and with the same standard somehow. Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, they still have the blind point on the performance issue. So sometimes if somebody just point out that their performance is not doing so good, good luck. Yeah, I hope that you won't be counted so bad. But somehow, maybe it will just counter you very badly. Okay, next, well, let's go to the ignorance function, same as the ISTJ. So basically, for the extroverted feeling itself, it means that you don't really sense onto other people's feeling. Like, why you crying? Why you need to be angry? Why I'm just talking something true and you're just being like a how should I say, being attacked emotionally. Is emotion really important to you? Yeah, because for them emotion is at the child function, it's nothing so important. Sometimes I can just abandon the child. Yeah, like in the sense, yeah, in that sense. And for the extrovert and the ignorant function itself, because sometimes you really abandon the child. How do you just think that the child will just mature the ignorance? No, the child won't mature the ignorance in this sense, and they were just trying to be like, yeah, I don't know, I don't know about this thing. Do I need to care? And the efficiency told them no. Yeah, then they'll just skip it. But actually, INTJ still have the way and trying to understand everything. When they expose to much enough people, and they can sense that is it other people is trying to talk about the true thing, or are they being honest or not? They will have the sense, and through that kind of like experience by themselves exposing to other people, and they expose into the situations, and they'll be much more like, oh yeah, so actually this kind of situation might happen and they might have this kind of feeling because I experienced it. So that's why I need to protect other people as well. So somehow actually INTJ, if they went through a lot of like a traumatized situation, I think somehow God just preparing them to be a little bit more caretaker. Yeah, in a good sense, not in a bad sense. Like when an INTJ know how to start to take care about other people, they are like basically like the best person. especially when they're on position. They are basically the best person right there. Yeah. The last one, demonic function. So the demonic function right here, yeah. So ENTJ is going to ISFJ, and basically the INTJ goes to the ISFJ. So basically, the demonic function of the SI basically is that they step back. They step back. They don't care about you. It's much more like they don't want to resonate with the energy anymore. They don't want your connection with it, so they just don't care about you. But you just think that they will just don't care about you. Just remember, they have the function of that introverted intuition. If they manage to revenge onto you, they will. If if they manage to try to counter you, ooh, the critic series like trying to proving everything to you, like at least in your face. Yeah, so not really good way, but somehow it might just happen. So don't be too happy if suddenly just found that the INTJ or like an INFJ, they just suddenly didn't trying to do anything until you suddenly one day and you thought that all the pain just ooh, the things just coming up. Yes. So basically, let's go to the first case of mine. The first thing, ego for INTJ. So basically, I already say that yeah, they have a very sharp way of like a judgment, and thanks to their critic as right here. But the parent function here working well, everything will be good. Then we go to the subconscious. Subconscious is the ESFP. So sometimes like because you just think it this way. Most of the time they are thinking and they are trying to make something good. So that ESFP when it come into place, if you are asking them to do some sports, actually they have the ability to do it. They have, but it's not that they are really good at controlling it. So a lot of time they will just say that I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do sports. I can't be fluent. I can't be uh, artistic. They can, but their artistic itself is much more like a system, like a systematically way to make it engineer into like art. Yeah, something very interesting right here. Yeah, so basically, in a sense, if you're trying to understand it, when they are happy, they will be goofy. Yeah. So let's try to talk about like their unconscious states. So the unconscious states itself is basically like ENTP right here. Yeah, the shadow side. And ENTP basically, yeah, you still gathering all the information or like you're trying to interact with the information, and somehow right here is much more easy way for you to see when INTJ start to be disappointing to you or like trying to be a little bit more cautious. Like they don't want something that bad to happen. They will be very debate. Like they will start to do a lot of debate with other people, and like maybe not a lot of people, but there's like a specific person, but a lot of debates right there. Yeah, and when they start to do debates, yeah, they just throw their face out to the space. They don't care anymore, and they will just list out everything that the other person needs to know uh, in their perspective for the sake of the group. Yeah. And the superego is the ISFJ, basically like the way for them to trying to cut off from others people's feeling or trying to not resonating onto like emotionally, yeah, don't want to resonate with them, they just leave. So this kind of leave itself is much more like, okay, I step back, I turn myself down and don't touch me anymore, and I won't just take it. Yeah, basically that's the ISFJ right here. So basically, let's go to the optimistic function and the pessimistic function right here. The optimistic function, as you can see, is the INTJ. So basically, it's the introverted functions, which is the introverted intuition and also the introverted feeling. So right here, basically, you just know that they're confident about the future. They have onto it, but the confident or like a morality onto the future, the chooses the priority in the future. Yeah, they really just prioritize it really well. Sometimes they just prioritize it too well and just making them like can't live in the moment. Yeah, and just making them somehow suffer sometimes. Because when you just look at the future, you a lot of things you want, and you just make yourself really stressed out. And next one, let's go to the pessimistic functions. Basically, the extroverted function right here. So it's the extroverted thinking and the extroverted uh, sensing. So basically, like performing out or like trying to make the plans work itself as something that they are not really happy to do it, or it's not something that they are really uh, prepared to do it. But yeah, basically, if you're trying to understand that, because it's like on the pessimistic function, so they are taking it much more cautiously, and because of the cautiousness, sometimes they will just make the things much more even better than those who are working based on these functions like a ENTJ and ESFP. Yeah. So basically, that's the basic point onto it. And let's talk about the grouping. So INTJ definitely intellectual, and they are talking in an abstract way, and but still they are trying to make everything into pragmatic, and they are systematic, as I already told yesterday, as the INTP series. And the next one is that they are finisher. So instead of someone who just started or like just making it into a structure, they are the one to finish it. But they are much more like an individual who doing everything. So basically, they just collect all the information they can just collect around them, and they will just make it into a system, and in the system will just run and make it really wonderful. Yeah, basically that's the point. Yeah, for INTJ. And finisher, they are talking direct, they are responding. Yeah, if you don't approach them, they just keep their mouth shut. Yeah, basically. And but then they are movement. So yeah, they are not just stagnant right there and just keep on trying to control everything. No, they trying to just keep on finding the possibilities that they can try to make it happen, make it true. I think that's it. Yeah, basically for INTJ, yeah, it's much more shorter. Yeah, since INTJ don't want to listen too much like yeah, side stories. Yeah, so yeah, good luck guys, and hope you'll just enjoy my next video, which I talk about compatibility and just some simple explanation. I don't want to go onto like couple and couple. No, 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 no. Like I just want to talk about like some basic of it. Mm. Good luck. Bye bye.